you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank my friend from North Dakota. It's great to hear stories from his great state and see how they're helping each other, coming to each other's benefits, and really, as somebody who represents a state who has agriculture, but not in the dimensions that Senator Hoeven does, it's wonderful to see how the ag community's really stepped up, not just for his state, but for the rest of the country, and we're very, very grateful for that. We've seen so many people across this country stepping in so many major ways. You know, I often describe my state of West Virginia as one big small town. We always help each other in times of needs, whether we know the person or not. The floods of 2016, I think, were a very good example of that, and I call it our West Virginia spirit. And there's no question it has helped us through some very difficult times, like the time we're facing right now. Every day, each of us, and I certainly am no exception, hear stories about how someone or some group has stepped up to the plate to go above and beyond to help their community. Not to get attention, not because they're forced to, because they genuinely want to help and make a difference. Today, I wanted to join my colleagues to help to highlight some of those unsung heroes. You know, many of us have been able to telework. Here we are here serving in the Senate. We're here at our jobs. But most people who are on the front lines don't have a choice. They're getting up every day and facing the challenges of this pandemic head on. But it does not come without some sacrifice. Kristen Schneider, who is a nurse in the cardiopulmonary intensive care unit at CAMC in Charleston, said that she quarantined herself from her family and friends due to the fear of giving the coronavirus to them, since she cares for patients affected by the disease. You know, we forget sometimes that our nurses and doctors and those who are caring for folks who are afflicted, they've got families too. Another nurse in the same unit said, "No one felt like a hero when we gowned up or put our goggles on. We felt privileged. We got to hold the hands of our patients, be their support, their friends, their family, and advocates, because their loved ones were not allowed to be with them at this very difficult time." She goes on to say, "I love my job, I love my team, I was never scared to go to work." Aspen Saunders, another emergency room nurse, said, "The most moving gesture I witnessed was the prayer circle at the hospital's cancer center. That is a moment in my career that I will never forget. I was very overwhelmed with the power and volume echoed from those who came to pray. It was an inspirational depiction of community strength. During this time, I found that I am now more grateful for the things that I usually take for granted, such as my family being healthy." I want to thank these brave nurses, and I want to thank them for their great comments. I've also heard from teachers who've gone above and beyond the duty, making sure their students aren't falling behind and creating programs for the students to offer support to the communities across our state. Take example Christy, a fourth grade teacher at Warm Springs Intermediate School in the Eastern Panhandle. She coordinated an effort with her fourth grade students to adopt a senior from the Berkeley County Senior Center. And through this program, they wrote letters. So, you know, a lot of our seniors are living alone and are lonely and hadn't been able to get out to connect with those seniors. Many students like those at Ripley High School in Jackson County are writing encouraging letters to healthcare workers to show them their support. And our first responders are stepping up. I heard a very touching story about the Gilmer County Volunteer Fire Department, right in the heart of our state, and how they're driving around to different houses to celebrate the birthdays happening during this time. You can imagine what that could mean to a 4 or 5-year-old child to see a fire engine coming by in celebration of their birthday. Another inspiring story I heard was a constituent in Wirt County. Her name is Deb. Deb realized the need for mats very early on, and she started an initiative called Sewing Faith. She used donated materials, and she and the women have sewn over 2,500 masks. They leave these masks on her front porch in a sanitized container for their healthcare workers. That makes it easy for them to pick it up. I've heard of businesses donating money to pay for the gas of healthcare workers. Our car dealerships are donating masks. Neighbors are donating food to the hospitals and others who are not able to get to the store. I heard over the weekend that one of my neighbor children, I said, "Where is he?" And they said, he's across the street. He's talking to Sue, and Sue's been widowed recently, and she's by herself. And he went in and had a cup of coffee with her. I've heard of West Virginians taking to the street and singing songs during the stay-at-home period to brighten the days of their neighbors. And I've seen Facebook posts of young people offering to run errands for seniors or for those who are more vulnerable to this virus. This is the spirit of our country, and this is the spirit of my state, the West Virginia spirit. And I know I could go on because there are 1,000 more stories like this. But you know what? Just a few stories can give us hope. Stories that help shed some positivity on what's a very difficult time, stressful and lonely. I've said on this floor many times, I am an optimist, and I know we will get through this because our country is strong, our states are strong, my West Virginians are strong. We've heard some very inspiring stories this afternoon, and they're examples of kindnesses happening all across this country. This is the kind of kindness that we need today. Well, we need it every day, but we really need it today. Think about all these unsung heroes. Thank them, but also learn from them. Let's all learn a lesson here and spread some kindness throughout our communities. And that, Mr. President, I yield the floor.